But then there's other clients who order a ton. So the sales average is about half of what our normal sales are. But if on a Saturday, I can shoot one session at a certain amount, or I can shoot 10 at half of that, I actually technically am still, it's a little more workflow, but I'm still making great money because it's volume shooting. Like, that's not what I want my business model to be all the time. But we're talking 6, 7, 8 times a year. It's actually nice for me. Like, okay, so after the session yesterday, we'll use that as an example. I am looking so forward to Dog Days of Summer because it can be like, oh, well, this session isn't working out, next. No, you know, like rather than like working. And I don't really mean that. I mean, I would work and work for a client that came in for a normal session, but that's where sometimes it's really freeing to go into a shoot to know, I just really need to produce one image. Like, I knew right off the bat, early on, I got a couple good images. Like, so if that were Dog Days, I could have moved on. Like, I got what they came in expecting. But this was, I was trying to treat more as a normal shoot, so I was like trying to get more. So you just work, it's a different mindset. You just put yourself in a totally different mindset in how you work.
Questions from the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. MESM100 asks, I'm confused. I thought you said prices are not discounted on products, but it sounds like for limited editions, the prices are different from normal sessions. Can you please clarify that?
Yeah, so I will clarify that. So with a limited edition, and I'll explain, everything but Dog Days. Our Dog Days, and I will have that, will actually come up on the screen this afternoon when we talk pricing. Our Dog Days price list did have like, we've had it where we've had the eclectics, the mini accordion. We've had certain products in there specifically geared towards the Dog Days event, but our normal limited edition price list, which I can see if I could bring it up, but I'll bring it up this afternoon or the next segment. Our normal limited edition price list, those packages and collections are prints only. There are no, so when I say products, just to clarify, I'm talking about products besides prints. So albums, framing, things that my cost of sale is much higher. So I have collections of prints, but they don't include products. So if a limited edition client wanted to order framing, an album, any other product that costs more, they're paying full price. They do not get special pricing on that.
Okay, we'll do another question. A few people had asked about Facebook, and Tower from Truckee, California said, she's mentioned Facebook photos several times. Can she explain a little more about the size, the resolution, if you watermark it, and the delivery of how that gets posted?
Yeah, size, I do not know offhand. I'm actually removed out of that process. I can find out and let them know later or get in the chat room or something. My retoucher is the one that does that, but I mean, they're pretty small, and they are watermarked. They do have our logo website on them, and they are just in charge of going to our page and actually finding their image and tagging it. So we just actually upload it, and we don't have to do anything with it. So that's what I'm saying, it's very easy. Like, my sister's doing orders, okay, I'm ordering images, upload to Animoto, make a little Animoto show, which I'll talk about this afternoon, how I do Animoto. But at the same time, okay, bam, watermark on this image, they already ordered, it's retouched, uploads it to Facebook, it's done. And that's why I said we have the little cards made with our Facebook page, because we can hand that at the end of the order. Hey, make sure you go to our Facebook page, and I'll tell you, we do that for 2 reasons. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, your image will be on there, so you can tag it. But that also, if we're doing that and we have these cards, that just reminds us in the sales room to make sure they're okay with that. Because we have clients who are like, oh no, I don't want you, and I respect that. I don't want you to just be putting my images up on Facebook, or this is for Christmas and a surprise. Like, you can't just necessarily be posting them up there. And at that point, I actually would email them that same small file that they could still send to grandma in Florida, or post on their blog or something. And not everybody has Facebook. So I'm calling them Facebook images, but that's how 98% of it is done on Facebook. What we're going to talk about today, or right now, is the sales part, the pricing part, and then I'll talk about a few other like programs and things that we use for our business. Actually, before we even get started, right now we've got Pro Select up on our screen, so I'll kind of walk you through some of the basic things we do in a sale. I'm not going to a normal sale, I spend an hour and a half, and a Dog Days of Summer sale, like I said, it might be A dog days of summer sale actually is probably closer to 15, 20 minutes. In a normal limited edition, we allow, a 30, 45 minutes for that sale, but it's all still done with Pro Select. And in fact, we just loaded this on, and it's a newer version than I have from Pro Select, so I apologize if I stumble through a little bit, but the great thing about Pro Select is it's very user-friendly, it's very intuitive, that it actually is working even better than the older version I have. It's been updated. But I just want to show you the key things. My whole part when I talk about anything software-wise, the way I feel about Photoshop, Lightroom, Pro Select, Successware, which is my business software, you could do entire workshops just on those programs. So I'm not trying to show you everything in 20 minutes, but I want to tell you the most important things. And it's actually, to me, with any software, unless you're going to go and start using it right away, I could give you all kinds of information, but until you actually dig in and start using it, that's when you're going to really learn. So I want to share with you why I use the programs I use, the key things that are most important, and some key things that I do in the sale. While I brought up really quick Successware, I don't want to leave that out. Successware is the business software that I use, and like I said, that when I first started using it, I took a 3 or 4 day intense class. And so the important thing is that you're using some sort of software that helps you run your business. For the first 4 years of my business, I'd say it was about 4 years, I did not, I just kind of thought, if I don't know my numbers, they don't exist kind of thing. And that doesn't work out so well. And that's when I first heard the term cost of sales. I had no business background or schooling, so that's when I started understanding I had to raise my prices based on the type of business I had created or was wanting to create. But the cool thing about Successware, I just want to tell you, it does 3 things. It's broken down into success planning, success pricing, and success tracking. What I use every day, day in, day out, is success tracking, and that's basically your calendar. That's my client list, my prospect list. And it basically, that's all I use. We don't use QuickBooks or anything. It's everything. It's all my reports. I can actually look at any given time. Okay, how many pet clients did we do in this month last year? How many pet clients have we done this year? What was my goal? Because you actually have a whole section called success planning, which is all your goal setting for the year. So how many sessions did I plan on shooting this year, and what type of sales averages did I think I was going to have? So it can help you make smart business decisions before things are too late, if that makes sense. Oh, wow, we're not where we thought we were going to be, or we're really down from last year, and then you can decide, hey, let's try to implement one of these marketing events or do something to boost sales. So that's really the most important part of Successware, and I don't use all of it. You put all your pricing in there too, so that's how we do all our invoicing. If you guys remember that session envelope that I printed off that has the release form, we do that through Successware. And I actually even think, going back to Pro Select, the two can work hand in hand. We actually still do, I moved my papers, but we still actually have a handwritten order sheet that, actually you guys in the audience have that in your packet, but it's just a handwritten order sheet. Pro Select does this much, we use this much of it. And I'm not even saying that in a bad way. Successware does this much, we use this much. Photoshop does this much, we use this much. So you can pick and choose what makes sense for your workflow. There's a photographer, Ron Nichols, he has an entire workflow, even with your retouching of your images, that works with Pro Select. We use Pro Select for one reason, and it's amazing, and it's the main reason I would tell you to get it. It's for your projection. It shows your clients their images in the real size. You're trying to sell them on the wall. And I'll walk through this and I'll point out some of the amazing things it does, and even some new things that as I'm playing with it, this is a new version that it does. So the very first thing is that in your sale, you want it to be simple. You don't want it to be complicated. You don't want to overwhelm your client. And so for sake of time, we were able to just load these. But if you were the client, and so we were able to set all our preferences and everything, but basically you can go into your preferences, and there's a couple things you'll want to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is in preferences, let me just look really quick if I can find it. Was it right there? You only have to do this one time. Oh, here you go. This is the most important thing you can do in Pro Select if this is all you do. This top left, you see it has display calibration. You actually will go up when you have your projector and your screen all set where it's going to be. And if you go into the client's home and sell by projection, you will need to do this every time. So if you're going to have something that's static and isn't moving, you only have to do this one time. You actually take a tape measure and you measure this line and then you enter it in. how many inches it was. What that's going to do is when you are actually, and I'll show you this, showing your images to your client, and you can say, this is what a 30-40 looks like, or like, what does a 20-24 look like? You can show them the actual size so they visually see it. That is what I mean when I say educating the client. Like, I feel very confident and comfortable, and I'm giving them, it's okay if they don't order it, I'm okay with that. I just want them to know what it looks like. I don't want them to be thinking, I want that big 11 by 14, and they're looking, you know, at 2024 thinking it's an 11 by 14. So the easiest way to show them is to actually have it on the screen showing them what it looks like. So anyway, so that's the definitely the one main thing I would suggest you do. And then there's another thing in preferences you can change somewhere, that toolbar on the left actually disappears. So all your clients are seeing is the full screen image. For sake of teaching and showing, I want you guys to see everything I'm doing. But you can set the preference, and that actually eliminates that confusion. Like when people tell me they sell out of Photoshop and different things, I feel like there's just too much moving around that the clients see. Like, I know you can show a lot of stuff, but I don't want to do Photoshop in front of my clients anyway. And this does so much, and it simplifies the process, and it really helps with the sale. So a couple key things with this. I've got the images loaded in. It's really easy. You just drag and drop them in there. Then everything's icon driven. It's very intuitive. There's a little camera view here. You actually can sync up your iTunes music for showing the images in a slideshow. So I'm just going to play it and just kind of talk you through it. I'm not even going to play the whole slideshow. I just want you to get the idea of the functionality of it. These are actually images we shot just a couple days ago here in Seattle that you'll see. We made a little video you guys are going to see tomorrow, so on location. But basically, these images, it's the same thing. These are really how a client would see them. These are not retouched. These are either just a quick action run on them or a proofing action, just really, really simple. I don't even have to be involved. One of my employees can do this, a very quick workflow. And so then again, tomorrow I'll show you how Jed would retouch these images more for just those couple favorites. So anyway, imagine you're the client, you came in, you guys know I told you 7 to 10 days later or 2 weeks later, everything's been scheduled ahead of time, so we have it all pulled up on the screen. So you come into the sales room, we offer you something to drink, your image is up on the screen big. In fact, Jed will show you how we do our title slides. It's a template you just drag and drop. The first image would be in that title slide. And then I don't say much. Really in the sales, you actually don't need to like talk too much, really. Let them kind of make those decisions. So just welcome them, tell them we're really excited, turn the lights down, and we press play. And I tell them, don't worry about picking any of your images right now. Just enjoy this. Like, treat it like a movie. You want to see all the images, get a feel for what you're choosing between. So I kind of just am quiet and I'm off to the side. So mom and dad or mom or whoever's there is just enjoying them, laughing, talking. They might be saying, oh, I really like that one. I don't like that one. You know, there's just some banter kind of going back and forth. And so as soon as the slideshow ends, I'll actually go back to all of them and I'll just explain. I know there are probably more here than you're going to be able to do anything with, and it's my job to kind of help narrow down to some of the favorites. If and when we had the other salesperson, all this has shifted for me in the last 2 months, this is where she would say, Vicky's picking out chosen some of her favorites. Here is the artist suggestion. So here is the artist suggestion. And I'll talk about this once we get out of Pro Select 2, but this is when she would actually hand this cute little pamphlet of some of the favorites that I chose, hand it to the client, give them a few minutes to look it over, and then basically at that point I would just say to the client, you know, you've seen our work on the walls, and a couple of these that were my favorites, we've actually spent some more time on retouching, like a bee gallery portrait. We need to go through these one by one. You're just going to tell me yes, no, or maybe. We're not really getting rid of these. Don't worry, like I'm not deleting them, we're just hiding them. And also, don't make any decisions based on if it's cropped, if it's black and white, if you see a funny stray hair you want removed. Because those are things on your finished image. Everything is custom. Everything is retouched. It's going to be like what you see here on the walls. So you're building the value into your product. What's interesting, if you think about it, if you're one of those people that stay up till 2 in the morning making your images look drop dead gorgeous, beautiful before the client ever sees them, and I'm not saying not to do it. I have friends who do this and they have great businesses, just get paid up front. Like,